What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and a lot of people are still kind of lost when it comes to this East Palestine, Ohio situation. A lot of people are still dazed and confused, which, by the way, is a great movie. If you've never seen that movie, go check it out. But anyways, a lot of people are still dazed and confused. They don't understand how something like this could happen. They don't understand how something like this can be covered up. How details surrounding this train derailment can be covered up. They don't understand how these various government agencies can all work together to mask the reality of the situation. They don't understand how these independent agencies can be hired by government agencies to come in, and then they provide false results from their test and they lie to the public. They don't understand how all of this stuff comes together. Because, on the outside looking in, if you don't really know how these things operate, it seems weird. Like, surely someone would say something. We got various government agencies out there. We got the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. We got, scientists and experts from all around, all in East Palestine, Ohio. Surely all of these people would not come together to promote the same lies. Surely these people aren't all in this together. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they are. That's the reality of this situation. For those of you all who are kind of confused, like how are all of these officials on the same page when it comes to lying about how bad this situation is? How are all of these people on the same page when it comes to releasing test results that aren't necessarily truthful or that weren't really testing for certain chemicals that they should? How can all of these people be colluding together against us? Well, the reality is a lot of these agencies, a lot of these businesses, Norfolk Southern, all of these people are often owned and funded by the same organizations or by the same entities, if you will, behind the scenes. How many of you all took economics class in school? Now, I've never been to college. I didn't go to college. I think college is kind of a scam sometimes for a lot of people. Don't get me wrong. I think college works out for some people, but a lot of times people are being scammed. But that's a topic for a whole nother day. So let's boil it down to the basics of economics. Something that you probably learned in high school or middle school. What's one of the first things you learned about in economics class? Name some down below. I guarantee you that a lot of you all learned about monopolies. Monopolies, right? And you probably learned that in a free market system, monopolies are sometimes frowned upon. It's bad for the market to not have competition. It's bad to have one central organization or business controlling a certain product or service. So you learn in economics class that monopolies aren't really good and that our government is supposed to have regulations put forward to ensure that these monopolies don't grow or they don't even become a monopoly in the first place. Well, in America, we are often given this illusion that these different companies and these different, tech startups and all of this different stuff, that these are all different businesses. These are all different entrepreneurs, with their own thing going on, when in reality, a lot of these companies, a lot of these government agencies are getting money too. A lot of these companies are being funded behind the scenes by certain entities. And often a lot of these companies that you look at, you may think, oh, this is like, these are diverse companies. And when I say diverse, I don't mean racially diverse. I mean diverse, like these aren't the same entities. These aren't the same, you know what I mean? Like, this company is owned and run by totally different people than this company. That's what you think in your mind, but in reality, the major shareholders of a lot of these companies are the exact same. BlackRock and Vanguard definitely come to mind when I think of that. Look into how many companies are basically, call it what it is, when you own the majority of shares in that company, a lot of these companies around here are basically owned, bought off, and ran by Vanguard and BlackRock. And don't get me wrong, they'll allow these companies to exist and go about doing what they already did, but when it's time to push their agenda, they'll push it. And everything from little soda companies, the drinks that you drink, down to the trains, Norfolk Southern, that we've been talking about, a lot of this stuff is bought off by these entities. And before you know it, you're watching Coca-Cola commercials that are pushing political agendas, and you're wondering why. Because Republicans and Democrats drink Coca-Cola. Yet you got certain agendas being pushed in cartoons, and you wonder why. It's because a lot of these companies, media outlets, all of it, their main shareholders are the same behind the scenes. So when you wonder, how can all of these different agencies come together in one big conspiracy against East Palestine? It's because these different agencies aren't really that different when you really start digging. In fact, most of them are funded and basically owned, or at least the majority shareholders are the same exact entities, which oftentimes, more often than not, just wind up being BlackRock, Vanguard, and others like them. Now, recently, we found out that Norfolk Southern and the independent agency that they hired to come do the air test in East Palestine, that they were not testing for dioxins. They weren't testing for certain chemicals and certain poisons in the air that they should have been testing for. Now, it is common. It's a common thing. You can go, or let's rephrase that. A couple of months ago, before this Ohio train derailment, you could go to the blood lab, you could go to your doctor, you could get blood taken, and they would test for your blood dioxin levels. Mind you, we all got it in our blood. We've all breathed some of this stuff in, not necessarily from East Palestine, Ohio, but we all got a certain level of dioxin in our bloods. You usually would be able to get that tested, no questions asked. It's just a run-of-the-mill thing that you can do whenever you feel like it. You could literally call into the lab like, hey, can I get this done? Basically, nothing to it. But now, all of a sudden, this East Palestine, Ohio train derailment happens. And now all of a sudden, places like LabCorp and other places who would openly, whenever you want, test your blood for dioxin levels, now they are no longer doing it. They literally stopped. You could have got your blood dioxin levels tested in East Palestine 8 hours before the train derailment. But now that the train derailed, now that these chemicals are in the air, now that they're trying to block people from finding out the truth about what's happening inside their own bodies, now all of a sudden LabCorp and these other corps and these other places that will take your blood and test your blood, now all of a sudden they no longer test for dioxins. How does that happen, ladies and gentlemen? How do you think that happens? Were you not listening to the rest of this video? Let's go ahead and watch this clip so you all can hear firsthand what's happening here. But first, before we dive into the clip, let's talk about this video sponsor. This video sponsor is the Swagit app. You know, I view Swagit as an alternative to TikTok. TikTok, you're getting spied on basically 24/7 when you're on the app. They're stealing your data. Not only that, they're promoting a lot of wild stuff to your kids. It just gets crazy. I know a lot of people like TikTok, but we need an alternative. Mind you, TikTok is already getting banned all around America. U.S. government officials are no longer able or allowed to use TikTok in various states across America. and soon enough, it may be banned permanently. Now, when TikTok gets banned permanently, everyone's going to be looking for an alternative. Swagit is that alternative. And if I were you, I would go ahead and join it. Not only do you not have to worry about your kids being indoctrinated on the app, not only do you have to not worry about Chinese spies stealing your data on the app is US based, made right here in America, only available here in America as of right now. It's going to roll out to other countries, but it functions much like TikTok. Share your little videos of you dancing, doing whatever you want to do, but unlike TikTok, there are tons of earning potential on Swagit. I know some people think, oh, this person's TikTok famous. They're getting hundreds of thousands of views. You know how much money those views amount to? Zero. A lot of your favorite TikTokers aren't making much money or zero money on TikTok, period. Over on Swagit, we exchange something called swag bucks. When you like someone's video, you can send them a swag buck. They can send you a swag buck. There's other ways to earn swag bucks on the app. And then you turn those swag bucks into real cash on PayPal or gift cards to whatever store that you like. So if you would like to support my channel, it's totally free. And yes, it supports my channel directly. When you hit the link in the pinned comment, you download Swagit and you follow me, Cinema Shogun, you're automatically supporting my channel for free, and you're gaining access to even more videos from me, and you're automatically entered into raffles for giveaways. I do multiple giveaways a month, giving away money, prizes, all of that. So be sure to download Swagit. Now, without further ado, let's watch this clip so you all can have a better understanding of how they pull this stuff off.
Some chemical engineers and environmentalists are sounding an alarm, saying the burning of vinyl chloride and other plastics can form more dangerous toxins like benzene and dioxin. And they say the EPA isn't testing for those.
These sorts of things, when they burn in an uncontrolled way, have the potential to release a whole host of aromatic chemicals and dioxin, and these are concerning because they can be persistent in the atmosphere.
Thank you for calling LabCorp. Kiki speaking. How may I help you?
Hi, yes, I'm actually calling because I'm trying to get a blood test. It's called a blood dioxin, DIOXIN, and I'm running into a lot of dead ends with this. Apparently, LabCorp used to offer it up until recently, but some are saying that it may still be offered there, so I'm just trying to call and see if it is.
Find out for you. Could I have your name?
Yeah, my name is Jolene.
All right, Ms. Jolene, give me one moment. Put you on a brief hold. Let me reach out to a tech and ask, okay? Hold on for me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Ms. Jolene, sorry about the wait. You still there?
Yep, I'm here.
So how about I just received an email saying that in case you receive an inquiry, LabCorp does not do the dioxin testing. I literally just received it 1 minute ago.
Wow.
As I was waiting.
Wow.
It says LabCorp does not perform dioxin testing at this time. Not saying that we're not going to, but at this time we do not offer.
So there you have it, folks. When you're wondering, well, how do all these agencies collude together? How do they all stick together to promote these lies, to cover up the truth? Well, it's because these agencies aren't as different as you think. And the people really running these agencies, the people really calling these shots, and make no mistake about it. When you're the majority shareholder of one of these companies, and you're the one funding these companies, you're calling the shots. So that's what's happening here behind the scenes, folks. That's exactly what's happening behind the scenes. And you see people are scrambling around, trying to act as if there's nothing to worry about here, and there's nothing to see here. And you're wondering, hey, why is the EPA lying to us? Hey, why did LabCorp decide we're not going to test for blood dioxin levels anymore? It's because LabCorp is protecting Norfolk Southern. Norfolk Southern is protecting the government's protecting BlackRock. I mean, not necessarily in that order, but I think you get the gist of it. All of these people are in on this situation together, okay? All of them. They all have an interest in protecting each other's asses, okay? And that's the problem in America and in the overall world right now. Us common people, we cannot stick together for anything. We are constantly divided by every single thing you can think of. Meanwhile, these big organizations, you may think they're at arms and they're fighting. You may think these political parties are at arms and are fighting. Reality, they stick together a hell of a lot better than we do, obviously. And they're sticking together, protecting each other. This agency protects this company, this company protects that company, which is protecting that agency, which is funded by this agency, which was bought out by this company, which is funded by the US government, who is also taking money from this. It's just a revolving circle. It's a revolving circle. Meanwhile, us common folks are divided. We're fed the illusion that all of these companies are owned by different people. We see the CEOs of these different companies speaking out, and in reality, they're still the same exact people behind the scenes pulling the strings at all of these agencies and at all of these companies. That is how things like what happened in East Palestine, Ohio, happen. That's how these things are allowed to happen. That's how everyone, in the long run, they get away with it. In the long run, everyone walks away free, while regular people like you and me suffer. And to make matters worse, these same people provide you with the illusion that they're fighting and that they're at odds and all of this nonsense, and then you pick sides, and in reality, they're all on the same side. They're on the same side of remaining wealthy, remaining in power, and keeping you away from that wealth and away from that power, because if you have that wealth and you have that power, then there's nothing special about them, okay? So I could go on all day about this, but hopefully you all grasp the basic concept. And don't get me wrong, this stuff runs way deeper than what I talked about here. It's way more complicated, and I understand that. And sometimes people get frustrated at my videos because they're like, there's so much more to this. It's so much more complicated, but you have to understand. Not everyone gets it. Not everyone gets it. And what's happening is we have people who are speaking out about these things, but in many ways they're saying too much. And they're going off the rails with it to the point that common people who work regular jobs, who are taking care of their kids, who are living a normal life, they can't often keep up with this stuff. So sometimes you have to water it down, allow people to grasp and understand the basics before you start picking through the layers, if you will. A lot of people lay it on too thick. They lay it on too heavy. And that's what I'm not trying to do on my channel. I want to provide information that is palatable, if you will. It's palatable. It's something that anyone could sit down, and if they listen, they could kind of understand what's happening here. So that's what's happening here, folks. Like I said, it's more complicated. We'll get into how much more complicated it can get in the future. But for now, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.